the Can You Fit a Shoebox in a PC? Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to the Can You Fit a PC in a Shoebox video. So we're going to be putting all the parts into the box with nothing hanging out except possibly the power supply. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to do a time lapse just to save you time. Quick disclaimer though, I'm using older parts like Windows XP parts, so they're most likely going to be smaller than your lower end cards, lower end components that you would find on the internet now would still be probably bigger than these parts now. So without further ado, let's get into it.
The CPU, we have an AMD Athlon 64 3000 plus. For the RAM, we have two Samsung sticks of 512 megabytes each, both clocked at 200 megahertz. For the motherboard, we have an Asus Tech Computer Inc. Salmon socket 754. It has 3 PCI 1 slots and 1 PCI 2 slot. It also has one single run of dual channel RAM slots. For the I/O, we have our standard 3 audio inputs. We have one LAN cable, 4 USB 2.0 ports, one Thunderbolt, 2 VGA ports, the pink one I have no idea, and we also have 2 PS2 ports. For graphics, we have a SyncMaster 32MB Trident microsystems with a standard VGA graphics adapter. And we also have 150GB of Seagate storage. We also have 2 120mm fans, one's from Corsair and the other is just third party. And the box we'll be putting in is just a standard, slightly larger shoebox.
Alright guys, so it is finally finished. It took me about 2.5 hours and I managed to load a version of Windows 7 onto it. As you can see, I managed to glue on 2 front intake fans. I did also have to, if I go around, I had to cut the box. If it wants to focus, yep. I had to cut the box to get the power supply in, but it doesn't really affect the look of it that much. At the back I cut out an IO hole, I guess. If you saw back in the time lapse, I actually screwed it up and cut the hole on the front. We've got the graphics card coming out and the exhaust. So the exhaust of the power supply is there as well. So we have positive airflow, which means that we've got more fans pushing air into the case and less pulling out. So air is going to be pushed out through the gaps, meaning less dust. But that wouldn't matter anyway because we haven't got any fan filters. I pulled off a button from one of my old cases that allows me to turn the computer on and off. And I also made it so that no parts were sticking out along the side. It's flat, meaning you can have it horizontal. Landscape. It's horizontal now as a tower. You can turn it downwards and it kind of looks a bit like a server. I had the thought of painting, like spray painting the exterior of it before I did the build, but really I can't be bothered. It kind of gives it that shoebox look as well. So yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, so the computer's been running for about 5 minutes with the lid closed, and I've got Specky open, and the CPU is running 32 degrees, 31 degrees Celsius. The motherboard's about 40, and the hard drive is running about 34. So that's not too bad. I guess they are that low because we do have the 2 intake fans at the front. But yeah, I guess we might as well crack it open. So as you can see, I've had the PC running for about 10 minutes with the lid closed, and the temps are reading about CPU 30 degrees, the motherboard's about 40, and the hard drive is about 34. So I guess we might as well just open it up now and I'll show you the insides. So the first thing you've probably noticed is that the hard drive is mounted to the roof, or the lid of the box. I was going to put it here, but I decided to put the fan there. So it's a pretty basic layout. It's just, I guess, the same as any other sort of PC. The one main thing that I did with this was put the fan in line with the CPU cooler, with the fins facing in a if you stand it up, in a landscape position, so they can feed through and hopefully can exit through the I/O. And yeah, well, I also decided to, that was probably the one thing that changed, like, with my mindset, was I decided to put icy pole sticks, hot glue them to the edges of like the flimsier parts, just to make it a little bit sturdier. And I also glued the box to the power supply because it is very flimsy. As you can see, the graphics card's also got its own hole there. So yeah, that's pretty much the interior. I mounted the motherboard with just putting some hot glue along the top where there's no circuits or exposed bits of metal. Another way you could do it is by, I was thinking of getting a skewer, cutting them into like little pieces and then gluing them to the cardboard, and then just putting the motherboard through them, kind of like standoffs, but like full like through. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to DM me on Instagram or through Twitter your pictures of your PCs in a shoebox. I'd like to see other configurations or other methods of mounting the hardware. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe to stay tuned for my PC, not so much build log, but just an overview of my PC. And I'll see you guys later.